There's literally so much going on at the moment that I felt compelled to make this video. Guys, it looks like there's definitely going to be some sort of a scare go down. I'm not sure the information, and it's coming from every possible source. So my feelings are this is the real deal. This is the go. This is where everything actually is going to actually go down. Or the only other alternative I can think about, because I've never, ever, in the past 2 years of intensive research that I've been conducting, I haven't seen this information come from so many sources at once. So it's one of two things. This is it's either go time, or it's the most massive misdirect that the white hats are trying to put out there to sort of get us to look in one direction, or should I rather say get us and the bad guys, the deep state, the Illuminati, Khazarian Mafia, to look in one direction, and there's something else massive that's going to be happening elsewhere. But it appears to me all the signs are basically pointing towards something's going to go down. The information as it's been delivered to us states that there's going to be some kind of an incident, some kind of a scare event that's going to happen. I'm not sure what it is, guys. You can maybe read between the lines, but there's going to be some kind of scare event where they are going to strongly suggest that everybody go to their homes or go to a venue where they can remain for approximately 10 days. So, guys, this really comes back to rather have and not need, and need and not have. So anything that you can't live without for at least 10 days, and obviously that includes water, food, medicine, anything that you can't live with for 10 days, I highly recommend you guys get out, go and get the stuff before it does become a challenge. Rather have and not need than need and not have. So there's definitely something is going to occur that's going to encourage people to remain indoors. Not sure exactly what it's going to be, but again, guys, read between the lines. What's going on at the moment? What is sort of the mainstream media really pushing at the moment? So think along those lines. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but again, guys, conduct your own research, use your own intuition, and I'm sure you can kind of figure out what's going to go down. Guys, I have also got really cool information stating that the mass arrests have actually begun. So there are over 450,000 sealed indictments, and it's possible that each indictment could contain as much as 99 names. So that is a significant batch of folk that are going to be arrested. So that's happening. And guys, remember, during that kind of lockdown, I hate the word lockdown, but let's rather call it remain at home protection phase of the white hat operation, because that's pretty much what it is. Ultimately, the white hats do everything in their power to make sure that we reduce the collateral damage as much as possible. So one of the first things, or one of the first major reasons why we need this remain at home protection phase is, firstly, guys, we have to replace that current criminal internet, which is called Mockingbird. That whole Mockingbird is what's been run and orchestrated by the CIA, Mossad, and the bank gangsters. And it's a really criminal system with all sorts. It's been designed with backdoors, so they can literally do whatever they want to do with the internet. So what we're now looking at doing is we're going to be replacing it with a completely new internet called Odin. So during this remain at home protection phase, guys, there is very likely going to be a period of time where there's going to be no communications, where there's going to be no internet. So think about how you can deal with that. What other communication methods could you have with your family? And if there is a very short, because it appears that it's going to be a very, very short period of time that we're going to have when this notification comes out. So guys, just if you can, stay close to the place you probably would want to spend the next 10 days. If it's possible, like I said, guys, nothing's cast in stone. This could be a huge misdirect. So I don't want you to sort of cancel your life and put your life on hold. But again, be cautious, stock up on essentials, think about the things that you really need. As that internet is replaced, like I said, guys, there may be no communication at all. So one of the systems that has been, and I'm not even sure if this will work, but it's been an indication that Signal, the Signal app, may be an app that may still be active. So if you haven't downloaded Signal, guys, download Signal. Like I said, it may work, but again, rather have and not need than need and not have. The other major reason for changing from that criminal Mockingbird to Odin is to basically cut off the cash of the deep state. So as you know, all money is basically created, well, the current money, other than the asset-backed monies that are now being instituted, but all currency up until very recently was backed by debt. It was basically the Treasury Department would ask the Reserve, their central bank, to issue currency. They would issue a treasury bond, and that treasury bond would then be sold in the marketplace. The fantastic news that's coming from that, guys. So by changing from Mockingbird to Odin means that the deep state is going to lose all access to all of that ridiculous debt fiat currency that's available, which means that we're literally cutting off their ability to bribe people, to pay people to commit murders, etc. So we're literally hamstringing them. The other good news, guys, is because this war, guy, and I'm not sure if most of you even realize that we've actually been at war. Humanity has been at war against evil, or should I rather say there's been a war, an ongoing battle between good and evil, and it's been going on for a very, very long time. I can pretty much go back all the way back to 87, and we can trace where the good guys have actually started. I think from 87 onwards was where the good guys actually started to make a dent, because it was a massive, monumental task that they had to do. The deep state had spent a very long time, guys, and indications are that this has been going on not for a few decades or a few hundred years, but this has been going on for millennia. So they have really entrenched themselves in every level of government, of mainstream media, every level of control that is directed towards humanity. They basically instilled in the police and the military right across the board. So it's been a heck of a battle. Things really hotted up since 2012, and certainly in 2014, the military in the US were about to conduct a coup d'etat because it was that bad. Guys, it's insane that we, or most people, didn't realize just how bad things had actually got. So in 2014, they actually approached Donald Trump, and that's when he agreed to run for president. They, of course, cheated. When I say they, I'm talking the deep state. The Khazarian mafia tried to cheat in 2016 to have Hillary Clinton elected. But using quantum technology or quantum computer technology, the White Hats were able to eliminate the cheating, and the rightful person who won the election was elected president, namely Donald Trump. What that did was it gave them an unbelievable facility, or should I rather say the deep state, over a very long period of time, because of the really dark stuff that they wanted to do in all the countries around the world. But I'm going to use the USA as an example because it's probably the most well known. What they've done over time is they have gradually given the president of the USA more and more and more authority, thinking that their people, their lackeys, the Barack Obamas, the Bushes, the Hillary Clintons would be elected. But unfortunately for them, Donald Trump was elected. Now, Donald Trump is one of the good guys. He's certainly what I like to call the tip of the spear. There's obviously a massive group of incredible heroes that have worked around him, but he's certainly the tip of the spear. And so what they really did was they had over decades gradually given the president of the USA more and more and more authority. And when Donald Trump was elected, he now had literally this unlimited power, which they had over a period of time given to the president because they wanted to do really nefarious, evil stuff. He was able to use that same power, that same authority to undo a lot of the stuff that went down. And the other thing, guys, I keep mentioning I'm going to go here, but I'm going to go a little bit down this really, I guess it's a very precarious little rabbit hole, right? And one of the other reasons that we as the good guys, the good side, managed to overcome these monsters is they have been engaging in crimes against our children for a very, very long time. And when I'm talking about crimes, guys, I think you can imagine the most evil, devastating, disgusting acts have been committed against our children. And the NSA basically started recording everything, every cell phone call, every email sent, every message that was ever sent electronically, they started to record. Now, fortunately, or should I rather say it was orchestrated. The good guys basically worked really hard to get one of their people in to run the NSA. That opened the doors for the good guys to start actually getting out there and getting all the dirt, getting all the evil that these people were committing. And dossiers, etc., were created, and those dossiers were used to either prosecute people, to send them to Gitmo, because a heck of a lot of people have already, like I said, the mass arrests have started. So it's going to be in the public domain very soon. The arrests have been going on for a very, very, very long time. And a lot of the top players, I'm not going to mention names, a lot of the top people, think about the names where you can see people clearly wearing masks. All those folks have certainly gone down to Gitmo and have faced the music. So this, everybody keeps saying, oh, they're going to be getting away from it. No, there's already people have been prosecuted for crimes against humanity, the stuff that they did to us through COVID, etc. So a lot of things are going on, but now we're moving down to the lower echelons, the real, the lackey kind of people, the Gateses and the Soroses are gone. It's now we're now talking about the people that report into them. These guys are now the mass arrests that are about to happen. So one of the things that also started quite a long time ago, and I've got some research that shows it could have started certainly back in 1987, but I've got definitive proof that the white hats or the good guys have been working really, really hard to take out something called DUMBs. Those are referred to as deep underground military bases. Now, what the deep state, the Khazarian mafia, was planning was in 2016, when Hillary Clinton was meant to win the election because they were going to cheat. Remember, leaders have not been elected, they've been selected. So their plan was to have or create a nuclear war. In fact, the way they were setting it up was Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton orchestrated the sale of 25% of the USA's enriched uranium, and they sold it off to Russia. But what they did was they took 3 kilograms of that enriched uranium and they gave it to North Korea. The whole idea was once Hillary Clinton was elected, they were going to fire a missile from North Korea containing that uranium. That uranium would then go off as a nuclear explosion in the US. And when they looked at the signature, they would then see that the nuclear signature of that uranium belonged to Russia because it was sold to Russia, but it actually had been siphoned off. 3 kilograms had been siphoned off and given to North Korea. So what they were really looking to do, guys, was to destroy the surface of the planet with nuclear weapons. But they were perfectly safe. They had built an incredible network of underground military bases. They call them DUMBs, deep underground military bases. These military bases were not just isolated bases, but they were connected to each other with magnetic lift trains. These magnetic lift trains, guys, I know you're gonna suffer with massive cognitive dissonance when I suggest the speed that these trains could travel at. These mag-lift trains that traveled between the DUMBs could travel at anything from Mach 2 up to Mach 4. That's 4 times the speed of sound. That's on a train. So you could literally then travel from Tokyo to New York in about 2.5, 3 hours. And this is the facilities that these guys were planning to go underground. These bases are located 10 kilometers or 33,000 feet. Strange number, 33,000 feet, right? You know, the Illuminati, the Masonic lodges, the 33rd degree Masons, etc. So 33 is a very big negative evil number that these monsters use. So the bases are 33,000 feet or 10 kilometers under the ground, linked with these mag-lift trains. And what they were planning to do was, when the earth was devastated with nuclear weapons, etc., they would then go into these bases and wait it out, kind of thing. We have, or should I rather say the good guys, the white hats, have over the last period of time, and I'd go back as far as 87. I think they already started looking at taking out some of those bases in 87. And certainly when President Trump was elected in 2017, things really dramatically accelerated. And they've been working very, very hard, tirelessly, guys, throughout the world. And how amazing is it that most of us are not even aware that this war has gone on, that there has been this battle raging down 10 kilometers underneath us. They've literally destroyed all of those bases. So what this effectively means is now they can't run. Previously, whenever something happened, they could run into these bases, use these maglev trains and move around the world and do really nefarious things. One of the things, I've spoken to you about the kids and the really bad stuff that they've engaged in with our children. A lot of that, those nefarious activities, they didn't just happen on Epstein's Island. They didn't just happen on the surface. Guys, most of these crimes have been committed in these dams. They've been, I'd rather not go there, guys. I'll get to a point where I will share this sort of stuff with you. But like I always say, guys, if you really want to know what's going on, and it's probably very important that we do get to know, is I'm going to place 12 search engines, non-Google search engines, in the comments below. Please go and research this for yourself. I think you will be as devastated as I've been at what I've actually discovered has been done to our children. So, guys, the thing that's really about to happen, and I know it must be a terrifying thing for people who aren't in the know, but for those of us that know, it has to happen. So we've got to destroy the old. The old system is a system based on fraud. It's based on evil. It's based on slavery. It's based on coercing us and keeping us enslaved in debt for all time. That system has to be destroyed. And in order to do that, we have to destroy the stock market. We have to destroy the bond market. We have to destroy all of the petrodollar. Remember, the petrodollar is that reserve currency that everybody has to buy and sell assets, or had to, until the BRICS countries came in and are now creating a alternative reserve currency, which is gold backed. That is forcing, guys, it's breaking the back of the deep state. So what we've done is countries are no longer selling their raw materials, their real tangible assets, to other countries that are paying them in air. All countries are now saying, if you want our oil, if you want our silver, our gold, our diamonds, whatever it is, you need to pay us in an equivalent tangible asset, be it gold, etc. So only real tangible value is going to be exchanged for real tangible value. So that's already started hamstringing them as far as being able to buy gold, buy silver, etc. But more importantly, guys, no one has bought any USA bonds for 5 days, even though the USA is offering a fixed return, in other words, a fixed interest rate. Nobody wants to touch US bonds. In other words, guys, nobody wants to allow the US to bring more fiat currency into circulation. Japan, remember I said to you in the previous video, one of the things that's going to start happening now, because there are alternatives, because all the countries around the world are asset backing or gold backing their currencies, countries are going to start dumping dollars, because previously countries had to have a trade surplus with the US. In other words, they had to hold dollars to buy oil, to buy silver, to buy tin, or whatever it is they wanted to do. They had to hold dollars. Japan has just announced that they are dumping, listen to how much this is, $100 billion. They're dumping 100 billion US dollars. They don't want it anymore. That useless fiat currency. Japan, like I said, Japan has just dropped that $100 billion, and Russia and China are dumping every single dollar they have. Remember, because they put sanctions, because of the Ukraine, so-called Ukraine liberation. Remember, Russia is liberating Ukraine. The US, obviously, because they're deep state, the European Union, all very deep state, put sanctions against Russia. So Russia said, hey, no problem. We're going to gold back our ruble. And when we sell our gas to Europe, don't think you're going to pay us in the euro, or that would be the petrodollar. Don't think you're going to pay us in the petrodollar. You're going to pay us in a ruble or a yuan or a gold-backed currency. That is fantastic news. So Russia and China are dumping their dollars. Japan is dumping their dollars, and bonds. Then the USA cannot sell bonds. Nobody will buy them, even though they're offering a fixed return. This is the most magnificent news. It basically means that this is the beginning of the collapse of the entire world economy. But like I said, guys, no need to panic, because the good guys, the white hats, the white dragons, the Q group, etc., all the guys working for the betterment of humanity have put a safety net in place. That safety net I've described to you previously is called GSARA. That's the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. So that's already in place. When I say it's in place, all the bits and pieces of the puzzle are already put in place. Yes, it hasn't been announced publicly yet, but all the pieces are gradually, slowly but surely being put into place, so that when the world economy collapses, because it's not a if anymore, it's a when the world economy does indeed collapse, what it's going to mean is this safety net of GSARA, the safety net of asset-backed currencies, the safety net of the quantum financial system, because banks are going to collapse. Remember, all banks are bankrupt. Why? Because of fractional reserve banking. Let me explain that to you. So when a bank takes in, let's say, for example, somebody deposits $1 million in a bank. The bank doesn't have to keep all $1 million. The bank only has to keep $100,000. In other words, 10%. So they keep 10%. Remember, that money is now given to a second party. That second party then deposits that $810,000, or sorry, it would be $900,000, deposits that $900,000 in the next bank. The next bank only has to keep $90,000. They then loan out $810,000, and they keep rolling this over until that $1 million, which was deposited, they've now loaned out $10 million. So imagine now when you've got people are out there and they're going, okay, so I want my $10 million. Remember, that money's been deposited in the banks. So if everybody goes and withdraws, if all the people who deposited money with the bank go and say, I want my money, the banks only have enough currency to pay out 10%. 90% of the people won't receive their money. So as you can see, all banks are bankrupt. So what does that mean? Guys, that means that banks are going to go bottom up. But like I said, the white hats have been working on this for years. They've put GSARA in place. They've got the quantum financial system. Guys, it's been running in parallel with the SWIFT system for approximately 4 years. And since very recently, certainly the BRICS countries and a number of other countries, slowly but surely, are all being absorbed into having the quantum financial system replace the SWIFT system, replace those criminal banks that have been stealing our money for years. So everything, guys, is fantastic. The collapse of the world economy is critical, but like I said, there's a safety net in place. There is maybe going to be a short period, like I said, maybe 10 days, where we're going to go into some sort of a remain at home protection phase, where all of the mass arrests are going to go on. So for your own protection, guys, a very good idea to remain indoors. Once this is all over, there's certainly going to be amazing things that are going to start happening. That's where the Jubilee, or should we rather say, all of that illegal fiat currency that's illegally been loaned to people, either they're going to settle. So there's one of two options. I've found two options. The second one is the less likely one, but the first one, as I see it, is all the interest that you've paid, because interest is illegal, right? So all the interest that you've been asked to pay on your credit card, on your bond, or your mortgage, or whatever you call it in your country, all of that interest is illegal. So certainly the interest that you've ever paid will be refunded to you. The second option was that all fiat currency debt will be zeroed out. Now, the problem that I see with that is fairness, because if somebody like, let's say somebody like myself knows that this is, I've known about this for a number of years. So imagine if I went out and I financed myself to the hilt. I bought as many properties as I could get. I leveraged myself to the absolute hilt. And now I've got 20 houses. But somebody else who's very frugal and somebody else who's been credit shy, who's done the right thing, right? they would be discriminated against because they're going to get nothing. Whereas I'll have 20 houses paid up. So the more logical way, like I said, the fairest way, paying it off is, remember, all fiat currency is illegal, so it would be the right thing to settle all debt, but it will also be unfair to the people who've been credit shy. So I believe the way that it's going to be done in the most equitable fashion, and again, guys, I don't know this for sure. I'm speculating here. But use your own intuition and what feels right for you. What I believe is they are going to allow the interest. So let's say you've been paying off your house for 10 years and somebody else went out last year because he knew about this about to happen and got 20 bonds or 20 mortgages, and those all get settled and they're left with owning 20 houses, but you've paid your house off for 10 years. How much more fair would it be? The guy who bought his property last year, he'd get back all the interest he's paid. The person who bought their property 10 years ago will get all the interest paid. So for me, that might be the most equitable way. But again, guys, use your own intuition. And the quantum financial system, or I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's a new financial system that's based on utilizing quantum computers, whatever that system is going to be called. That system, guys, is set up to support the distribution of money. So it's not only going to be a quantum financial system, but it's going to be a quantum prosperity system. So there are a massive amount of equity funds, of monies that have been set aside for the upliftment of humanity. So there's going to be a massive redistribution of wealth. In other words, taking the wealth that has been stolen from us, that's sitting in the hands of the 1%, that wealth is going to be distributed amongst humanity. But remember, guys, we can't do it too quickly. We've got to do things at a pace that humanity can manage. So imagine, obviously people that have been living in squalor and people who've been living in slums, etc., to all of a sudden overwhelm them with unbelievable wealth wouldn't be fair on them. It would be too much. So there are systems, there are processes. These guys are a whole lot cleverer than all of us, and they've worked out an incredible system. I mean, every time I look back and I think about, wow, this is taking so long, but I look at how things have gone. I mean, in 2020, had they arrested Biden, there would have been a civil war. 8 months later, everybody hated Biden. So like I say, the good guys have really, that they have been doing the most incredible job of ensuring that collateral damage is minimized, that everything happens at the right pace so we don't traumatize people too much. So a lot of the reasons for delays, guys, has been to support people. There's a lot of sleepers out there. There's a lot of people under massive MK mind control. Those are the people that we need to basically turn the volume button up very slowly. We can't overwhelm them with too much at once. And that's why things have been taking kind of as long as they have. So the other thing that's incredible, guys, I've mentioned to you many times that if you have got some spare cash available, invest into silver. Silver is going to absolutely skyrocket. It's one of the most controlled, abused substances out there. It has been one of the most, the way that the bank gangsters have controlled this, the price of silver, is they issue something called silver certificates. It's not physical silver. It means that what they do is they pretend to be holding silver that they don't hold, and that artificially keeps the silver price down. What's been happening is, because people have started to realize, investors have started waking up and realizing that silver is a golden opportunity. Loads of people have been buying silver. COMEX, for example, I'm going to read this to you, right? Registered silver is down an incredible 60% in the last year. So in other words, the supply of silver is down by 60%. That's basically the backup of silver is down by 60%, and 72.8% over the last 3 years. In the last month, silver has gone down. In 1 month, it went down by 3.6% just in that 1 month. Registered silver is falling by about 8 million ounces a month. So at the current pace, the inventory will be wiped out in about 3 months. That is fantastic news for anybody who's invested in silver. Guys, I've created a video on silver where if you want to watch it, in fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll put the link in the comments, where I, based on everything that's been going on, fractional reserve banking storage, which is a criminal act that was committed by a number of banks, where people actually bought physical silver, and because the price of silver is pretty stable, these criminals went out and they speculated with that money on the stock exchange. But the worst part of all is they pretended to buy the silver and even charged customers a storage fee for storing silver that didn't exist. So when all of those people, that is a massive amount, when those people start saying, hey, where's our silver? Those organizations don't have silver. So when they now go out to the market to buy silver, remember the COMEX silver supply it's going to be done in 3 months. And when the demand goes up and the people who've got silver certificates say, hey, where's our physical silver? There is going to be a massive increase in the price of silver. So one of the greatest investments that you can do at the moment, guys, is buy silver. Gold backing currencies, guys, is going to literally destroy the central banks. Remember, the central banks, their whole reason to exist is to create this ridiculous, illegal, counterfeit fiat currency out of thin air and then charge the citizens of the country interest for manufacturing their own money. It's ludicrous. Now that all currencies are becoming asset-backed, gold, guys, is going to be the death. There's already around BRICS, there's Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Algeria, etc., as I said in my previous video, have already been accepted. And there's another 120 plus countries are now asking for membership. The US has passed their asset backing. In other words, it was called the Gold Standard Reformation Act, I think. Bill, I think the bill is 8110, but don't quote me. It may be that. So every country around the world is asset backing their currencies. No one wants those ridiculous created out of nothing currency any longer. Another amazing thing, guys, is around the periphery. Elon Musk is now finally, with Twitter, he's now looking at eliminating all of the censorship, etc. Truth Social, how incredible is this? Truth Social, which only started in February, I think, of this year. So it started in February of 2022, is now worth an astounding $44 billion. It's an unbelievable success story. So everything that I'm seeing out in the marketplace, in fact, guys, last time I said to you there was sirens going off. There is, at the moment, there is so much going on. It's just impossible to actually keep up with everything that's happening. But the most important things that are absolute indicators that the world economy is going to collapse is Japan dumping that $100 billion, China and Russia dumping their dollars, the Saudi Arabia joining the BRICS countries, BRICS building this reserve currency. All of these things are pointing to the end of the deep state. And then, of course, the last thing that needs to happen, as I said, is we're going to need to go into that remain at home protection phase. Reasons for that, again, let me remind you, was, first of all, it cuts off the deep state's cash, and also by replacing the internet, we move from Mockingbird to Odin, it removes their ability to get all of our information. Because remember, he who controls the flow of information controls which timeline we're on. So the internet is one of the most powerful places where people go to acquire information. And if you control that, in other words, if you control the entire internet called Mockingbird, you have unbelievable ability to control the flow of information. But of course, once Odin is introduced, the white hats now, remember, we've got CNN has been bought out by John Malone. We've got Truth Social, we've got Twitter, we've got Parler, and basically now we're going to be taking over the entire internet. So that means that the good guys are now controlling the flow of information, which means very quickly we're going to start moving from these very non-optimal timelines for humanity, in other words, timelines of war, famine, lack. We're going to be moving towards those optimal timelines for us. See, least optimal timelines for us are the most optimal timelines for the Cabal or the Illuminati or the Khazarian Mafia. We are going to be moving away. The least optimal timelines for them and the most optimal timelines for us. Our most optimal timelines are timelines of love and peace and abundance. And that, guys, is where we're headed. So, yes, there is going to be a short period where it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. But ultimately, guys, you know, they always say it's risk and reward. The reward is certainly going to be worth the possible 10 days that we may be in remain at home protection phase. The future for humanity is astounding. Just hold the line, guys. We're very, very, very close. And please do yourself a favor. Go and get some groceries. Go and get some water, etc. Just be prepared. Like I said, it could be a misdirect, but wow, I have never been exposed to so much information from every single source that I have saying exactly the same thing. So it's either, guys, it's either go time or it's a massive misdirect. But my intuition, I mean, listen to your own intuition. I mean, what is your intuition telling you? Is it go time? And just to wrap up, guys, I want to wrap up and I want to thank all of you, because you guys that listen into these messages, you guys are the people that have been awake. You guys are the people that have raised the collective consciousness of humanity to a point where we could win this. We could win this war. You guys are the people that have been ostracized. You guys have been criticized and belittled and taken advantage of and called all sorts of names. You've lost friends. You've lost family. But let me just reassure you guys, we are so close to you being vindicated, to you being shown to have been told the truth. And I know every one of you have only had the best interests of humanity. And I know it's been hurtful. Guys, I've been hurt. I've been devastated by my very closest family have in fact ostracized me terribly. My own children. It's been a really, really tough 2 years, I would say, has been the toughest. But we're nearly there, guys. Hold the line. And here's the part that I really need to appeal to you. As we move into this phase, as we move into the phase of public announcements, where the mass arrests start happening and the mass, where we start to uncover and we get to see all of the evil that these horrible monsters have orchestrated on humanity, we're going to need to step up, guys. They may not even apologize to you. And guess what? That doesn't matter. You were chosen. The reason you guys are awake and they aren't is because you're the chosen people. Guys, our role, our job very soon is going to be one of information, going to be one of support, one of encouragement. We need to basically, guys, don't expect apologies. Don't expect people to be sorry for what they've done. I mean, look at this whole COVID nonsense story. Can you believe these... Sorry, I'm getting excited here. Let me slow down. These idiots are now saying we must have amnesty? Really? After locking us down, after taking away treatments like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, hiding them from us? You're trying to tell me that there was no nefarious intent? Locking us down, closing our businesses, forcing us to put face diapers on so we rebreathe our own disgusting air that needed to go out. And now... guys, and that doesn't even mention all the damage that was orchestrated by these monsters via a bioweapon that they created. And now they're saying to us, we must give them amnesty. Nah, I think not. But guys, here's where I'm going with this. That's a different story. Those people need to face the consequences of their actions. Unfortunately, guys, the people that belittled us, criticized us, and basically ostracized us, they didn't know any better. They have been under massive mind control. So we really need to step up, and we really need to be there for those folks. That's why we're here, guys. Like I said, you are or have been selected. You've been selected to do this job. Let's get out there. Let's help, let's support, let's encourage, and let's embrace this amazing, incredible Great Awakening. Guys, we are so close to the end. Just hang in there now and be there for everybody when they call.